Hello and welcome to another Magic Spanners video. Today we're going to be showing you how to do oil change and an air filter change on a Mitsubishi Shogun 2008, and the tools you'll need are sockets and wrenches, 14 and 17 I believe sockets, an oil filter wrench, an oil filter, an air filter and some 10 litres of oil, but you only need 8 for the car, and it's 5W30 and it's a low ash oil. And that is important because it's got a DPF filter. Another thing you'll need is something suitable to catch the oil. I use a 20 litre container which is plenty to hold the oil that's coming out of the car. The first thing you need to do is get the car up on some ramps, and the beauty of doing it outside my mum's is when the car's on the ramp it's still level because of the hill. So that's good, great for when I'm topping the oil back up. Go. You have to remove 2 panels under the car. The first one's here and the back one's here. This one's got 4 nuts in, that one's got 6. That's right, all the controls. We got one more. So there's the drain plug for the oil, and that should be a 17mm socket, I believe. Yeah, 12-15 anyway. It is 17, which is over there. We're going to take the back panel off as well while we're here. Before we drain the oil, we just need to remove the oil cap. There we go. So to remove the drain plug you need a 70mm socket and a wrench. So you just get that loose, but don't take it off just yet. Line up the tray. You intend to catch the oil in underneath, because this is where it starts getting messy. And slowly remove the drain plug, and the engine is a bit warm because it's always best to do it after a run. There we go, and then we just leave that to drain. Make sure it's not going to go anywhere. Last thing we want to do is clean up the oil spill. And while that's draining, we'll go and remove the air filter. Pause. Go. While the oil's draining, we're going to change the air filter, and you don't need no tools for this. There's just 3 clips, 1 here, 2, 3 here. You just unclip them. There's 2 slotting parts at the back of it. You push it to the left and lift it up. So that's the old filter. It's not too bad actually. So we're going to replace that. with a nice shiny clean new filter. And then reattach the clips. Boom. Go. There you go, once you reattach the clips, that's the air filter changed. Once you're happy you've drained enough oil out, these few drips and that don't really matter. I've changed the washer on the slump plug, always a good idea to do that. Put the plug back in and just hand tighten it up. Careful not to cross thread it, otherwise you'll be in big trouble. So with that in, we can now move this under the oil filter, which is just behind the driver's side wheel, ready to remove the oil filter. But before we go over there, we'll just give this a wipe down and just tighten it up, ready for when we put the oil back in. So, righty tighty. There we go. We don't want it too tight, just tight enough to seal it up. Okay, so just behind the driver's side wheel, under the wheel arch, you'll see the oil filter. So I've already put the oil filter remover on there, and these make it a lot easier to take these things off if they're tight. But because I changed mine every 8,000 miles, it ain't going to be too bad. But it's still going to cause a bit of a mess because there's just over a litre of oil in this oil filter. So you just unscrew it off until it becomes loose enough to take it off with your hands, and then obviously have your container ready underneath to catch it. The amount of times I've dropped these, you wouldn't believe. Oh, that's the thing, that's loose enough now. Yep. So we can remove the oil filter remover and slowly remove the oil filter. There we go. It's always fun. Any second now it's going to go. It's always when you least suspect it. There we go. Ah, beautiful. We're going to get ourselves cleaned up and then put the new oil filter on. Grab your new oil filter, take the cover off, and before you put it on the car, you just need to put a bit of new oil around that seal. So get some out of the oil you're going to put in the car. You don't need much, just enough to get some on the seal, like so. Some people do fill the oil filters up, but I don't like that to do that unless I'm on a ramp, because if you drop it, you lose all the oil. So I'd just rather put it on empty and let the car fill it up for me. And the new oil filter just screws onto there. And just hand tighten it up. Don't want to over tighten it, so don't use that should be plenty. Cool. We're now ready to put the oil back in. Now the car's capacity is 8 litres of oil. I normally put in 7.5, take it for a drive and then top it up once it's on flat ground to the correct level. because you don't want to put 8 litres back straight in, because there's still some in the car, and too much oil can cause more damage than enough oil. So stop just after 7, so it'd be a full one of these, that's 5 litres, and then 2 more litres out of one of these, which is over there. Put 7 in, 7.5, and then take it for a drive, let it run round. So we're just going to do that now. So this one's going all the way. Just take your time with this. Actually, we don't need to show that, do we? Cool. We put 7.5 litres in. Just going to put the oil cap back on. And obviously then put the service plates back on the car underneath. Take it for a run and then recheck your oil after you've given it a rest, and that's the oil and filter change done. Ta-da!